The old courthouse in downtown Charleston was buzzing with whispers as people filled the benches. Reporters leaned forward with notepads ready, while curious onlookers shuffled in, eager to witness what seemed like an ordinary criminal case. Judge Harold Whitmore entered with his usual sternness, his robe flowing as he took his seat behind the towering oak bench. He scanned the room before his eyes settled on the defendant, Marcus Bell, a 19-year-old accused of grand theft auto and resisting arrest. Whitmore's lips curled into a faint smirk as he studied the teenager standing confidently at the defense table. To him, Marcus looked like just another reckless kid caught in the system. "You seem awfully sure of yourself, Mr. Bell," Whitmore remarked with sarcasm that echoed through the chamber. The spectators chuckled softly, but Marcus didn't flinch. What no one in the courtroom knew was that Marcus had grown up surrounded by law books. His mother, Patricia Bell, had worked as a paralegal for 2 decades, and Marcus had absorbed every bit of her knowledge, spending years quietly studying case law, procedures, and courtroom tactics. He wasn't just another defendant. He was prepared for this moment. The prosecutor, Leonard Haskins, rose and presented his opening with confidence. He described how Marcus was caught inside a stolen vehicle late at night, fingerprints on the steering wheel, and how Officer Brian Keller swore he had seen Marcus behind the wheel during the chase. The case seemed straightforward, and the prosecutor leaned back with an air of certainty. When Judge Whitmore asked Marcus about his legal representation, the room froze at his reply. "Your Honor, I'll be representing myself." The silence was broken by muffled laughter and a raised eyebrow from the judge. Even Haskins struggled to hide his grin. But as Marcus began, the atmosphere shifted. He spoke calmly, questioning the very foundation of the prosecution's evidence. He requested the GPS activity log of Officer Keller, pointing out that the officer had filed paperwork claiming to be at a different location during the alleged pursuit. Murmurs spread through the courtroom. Haskins stiffened, unprepared for the challenge. Marcus leaned forward and reminded the court that fingerprints do not prove theft. "If I try on a jacket in a store, does that mean I stole it? Of course not. The same logic applies here. I touched the car, yes, but I never drove it." He explained that he had leaned on the vehicle briefly while waiting outside a convenience store. His analogy landed with weight, and several jurors exchanged thoughtful glances. He then turned his focus to forensic evidence. In a steady voice, Marcus asked Judge Whitmore if the state's forensic specialist had been subpoenaed to testify. The judge looked to Haskins, who hesitated, before admitting they had not. Marcus seized the moment. "So the prosecution expects this court to convict me without allowing me the chance to question the evidence against me." His words cut like a blade, and the courtroom grew tense. Then Marcus pulled out a document no one expected. It was the official statement from the car's owner, Mr. Richard Malone. Reading directly from the police report, Marcus revealed that Malone had admitted leaving his car running while stepping into a shop. Even more shocking, Malone had described the actual thief as a young white male, not Marcus. Gasps filled the chamber as the weight of his revelation sank in. Marcus laid it out plainly. He had been arrested blocks away from the vehicle with no direct link to the crime other than assumption. "The truth is," Marcus said firmly, "this case isn't about evidence. It's about convenience. I was easy to blame." His gaze swept across the courtroom, landing briefly on the jurors before returning to Judge Whitmore. The judge, who had started the trial with mockery, now sat silently, his expression unreadable. Finally, he asked the prosecutor if there was anything further to present. Haskins shuffled his papers, unable to meet the judge's eyes. There was nothing left to say. Judge Whitmore sighed deeply before delivering his decision. "Mr. Bell, the charges against you are dismissed." A wave of disbelief and relief swept through the courtroom. Reporters scrambled toward the exit, preparing their headlines. Marcus stood tall, his composure intact, though his heart raced. As he turned to leave, Judge Whitmore called after him. "Mr. Bell, you might consider law school. The courtroom could use someone with your skill." The unexpected acknowledgement hung in the air as Marcus gave a polite nod and walked out. Outside, The flashes of cameras greeted him, reporters shouting questions, but he ignored them all. His focus was on his mother, waiting anxiously by the courthouse steps. She rushed forward, pulling him into an embrace. Her eyes glistened with both pride and fear. Across the street, Judge Whitmore lingered at the courthouse entrance, watching Marcus leave. For the first time in years, the judge felt the sting of self-reflection. He realized how easily bias and shortcuts had nearly condemned an innocent young man. The trial had shifted something in him. Marcus, meanwhile, felt clarity settle over him. His fight was not just for his own freedom. It was for every young person trapped in a system stacked against them. He made a quiet promise to himself. The next time he walked into a courtroom, it would be as an attorney, not a defendant. The crowd around him faded into the background as Marcus walked into the sunlight, his resolve stronger than ever. This was not the end of his story. It was the beginning.